It's Jalen and Jacoby.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together, we are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do, Mr. Rose?
We get to find individuals that have supported this program 6 years. Exactly what they want, when they want it, when they need it. Whether podcast, radio, or television at 2 in the afternoon, or right now at 2 in the morning.
It seems like every single day there's new Kyrie Irving news. So we have a new segment. It's Kyrie Gate Day 28. It's been 28 days since it's been reported that Kyrie
didn't happen.
No.
Are we going to act like Deflategate didn't happen?
No, it's Kyrie Gate. You put a gate at the end of it, it makes it a thing, Jalen Rose. Trust me. 28 days ago, Kyrie Irving, it was reported that he said he wanted to trade. Seems like we've been obsessively talking about it ever since. So the latest news in Kyrie Gate here on day 28 is this from ESPN. Quote, the Cavaliers find themselves far more fixated on a young star, including New York's Kristaps Porzingis, Boston's Jason Tatum, Phoenix's Josh Jackson, and Denver's Jamal Murray, league sources told ESPN. Is this something or nothing, Jalen?
Hit the brakes.
Oh, okay.
First off, they're not trading Kyrie Irving for Tatum.
I love Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's so excited.
Jackson
Jamal Murray's so
Murray.
excited to be in this report. He's like, oh, me? Like, you put me with them? Oh, okay. Yeah, Tatum is
That's
like,
not
that's
going
right.
to happen.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like good theater, and you want to diversify the report and talk about different teams that may be in play.
You have to. It's only day 28. We got to come up with something.
So here's the thing. If you're the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, you're in the driver's seat. They've accomplished things as an organization that not many people get a chance to achieve. They've been to 3 straight NBA Finals. They've won the city of Cleveland its first professional championship in 50 years.
Had the parade.
They have the top player in the game in LeBron James. They have 2 other All-Stars in Kevin Love and the aforementioned Kyrie Irving, who has 2 more years left on his contract, which means 1 more year after LeBron James leaves. They have plenty of time to get this ironed out and not to panic on a move. And the names I just mentioned to you will not get a deal done. Now, if you're the Knicks, you still don't do that deal because Kristaps Porzingis is a 7-footer. So pump the brakes. It may get done, but you don't have to rush to do it.
Well, then we have this report, which I find really interesting. This is from Tony Rizzo of ESPN Cleveland. Great name. He said that Kyrie, I'm going to give you, listen, from very reliable sources, plural, Kyrie and LeBron were in the same room all weekend in Florida. Apparently, these guys were in the same. Here's the deal. I don't know if there's a out process. As for what they talked about, it was very cool. They didn't get into any heated discussions. This has since been sort of questioned by other people. Do you actually think that Kyrie and LeBron had a secret meeting?
I don't.
I don't think so either. I mean,
I don't
have any proof that they didn't or they did, but I just don't see that happening. Why don't you think it happened?
My personal proof, if they had a meeting, I think I'd know.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
That's what I'm going by. So that's what I'm basing my answer on. But if it did take place and it was a secret meeting, I understand what the premise that they would try to get accomplished in that said meeting would be. They talked a lot of bad stuff about Dan Gilbert.
Yeah, exactly. They got one thing in common. They both want to leave Cleveland. Yeah. That's what it was. It's not like, hey, let's get this together. Let's win a championship. Let's figure out how we're going to work together on and off the court. Let's mend these fences. It's like, let's just get together and complain about Dan Gilbert.
That's what happens when players-only meetings take place. All they do is complain about the coaches and the organization.
Of course. That's it. And then they try to rise above it. Of course.
And so for those 2 players, they're mature and professional enough and had enough success together and respect for one another, regardless to whether Kyrie still wants to play there or not. You got to understand something that LeBron has done that's been not only great, which makes him an all-time player, but he's done something that most people aren't able to do as a successful athlete. He's either disabled or disarmed his competition. Anytime you lose to Kevin Durant in the NBA Finals and y'all playing pickup a couple of weeks later, it's all good. Playing with Melo, banana boating with Chris Paul, it's all good. And so the level of disdain as fans and as players, I want it as well. That you want people to have for the opponent. Not only did LeBron shatter that with the way he's handled his free agency, being a top player, taking one-year deals, being an MVP, leaving one team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, to go to the Miami Heat. He also has the LeBron James basketball camp. And you know what takes place each summer? A lot of your favorite high school, collegiate, and now professional players have actually gone through that system. And they learn a lot and they look up to LeBron. And in this case, regardless to whether Kyrie still wants to be his teammate or not, he falls into that category. So it wouldn't be surprising if they're able to have a respectful conversation about each other's future.
But it didn't happen.
But it didn't happen.
Chris Sheridan sent the NBA Twitter world in a bit of a tizzy yesterday by sending a tweet that he heard that it is a 100% chance LeBron James is leaving. Well, that report was then denied by LeBron James's camp. And then Sheridan, guess what? He's backing up Sheridan's reporting. Here's what he tweeted this time. Quote, one follow-up tweet on LeBron leaving Cleveland next summer. Denials from his reps are disingenuous. They must lie to protect his image. Do you think Sheridan had this right and then LeBron's camp said no? Or do you think LeBron is like, you know what? I'm not 100% about anything. Who knows? Tomorrow's not promised. So reporting that I'm 100% is actually inaccurate.
What makes it inaccurate is the 100% part. Mm-hmm. The only thing that possibly, even on a reality television show, Jerry Springer, when they come out with the pregnancy test, that's not even 100%.
Exactly. And
before you know it, they get to fighting and everything.
If they trade Kyrie and bring in a bunch of players that LeBron loves, and then someone gets hurt in the Warriors and they win a championship, LeBron can stay. It's not off the table. Is it 100%? No. But there's things that could happen that could make staying in Cleveland a lot more attractive to LeBron James. If they do trade Kyrie, they'll run it by LeBron, and they bring in some people that LeBron loves, and it ends up gelling and working in Cleveland, and he looks around and says, I got my man Tristan here, I've got Kevin Love here, I've got J.R. Smith here without a shirt on, and these new players, and we just want to chip. I could definitely see him staying. That said, probably not going to stay. Let's be honest. We're going to stay, though, because after this, we have an update. Kevin Durant had Kevin Durant Day. Let's hear what he had to say about potentially visiting the White House. That's next. Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN2. Back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, you were the first one to really say this on wax, that White House visits are going to change a little bit with the current regime that is now in D.C. Well, that story's starting to bubble up again. Kevin Durant was in Seat Pleasant, Maryland. He had Kevin Durant Day and the Larry O'Brien Trophy, top down, driving through his old stomping grounds. And the Undefeated caught up with him and asked him about a White House visit. And he said, quote, nah, I won't do that. I don't respect who's in office right now. You were ahead of this story. And then I was ahead of what is going to happen. I said, they're not going to get invited. Simple as that. Like, not only are they not going to show up, they're not going to get invited. So, do you think that these sort of open statements by one of the two or three most prominent players on the NBA championship team saying that he would not attend will lead to the Golden State Warriors not being even invited to attend a White House visit?
I think that's what's going to take place. And after 7 months, this president, number 45, had the lowest approval rating of any president at this point of his tenure. And if you look at a lot of the turmoil that we're facing as a country right now, I haven't seen it like this since I've been on this earth in 1973. And him not inviting teams, in particular from the NBA and the NFL, because he understands that he is an unpopular president right now, would probably be the wise thing to do, because he got a lot of other things to worry about. And so it's truly unfortunate, a lot of things that have taken place, but I understand where KD is coming from. There will be people that feels like, hey, you should go, because use that platform to now say what you want to say to the president, since you're going to be in front of him. But KD, like, I'm going to get plenty of chances to go.
Yeah, also,
I'm on the Warriors.
I'm on the Warriors. You see our roster, I'll be back.
I'll be back, and we're going to wait till he leaves. Because a lot of times, if you don't denounce something, you're endorsing it. So I applaud his courage.
So LeBron and Savannah did a little interview in Vogue. I don't normally read Vogue magazine. It's not one of my go-tos. But there's a very interesting quote. Quote, me and my wife are different, at the same time we're the same. I'm gone a lot, so she is the boss of the house. She's the rule setter. It's hard to go on the road for 2.5 weeks and then come home and tell my kids, look, this is how it should be done when she's been home every day. Huh, that got me thinking, Jalen Rose, as someone who has some experience with this. How hard is it to balance parenting and being a professional athlete?
Oh, it's virtually impossible in certain situations, especially when you're not in a relationship with your kid's mom and they live in a different state. It creates a whole unique dynamic. So for LeBron, who's happily married, has kids, she's the rock of the family. And I appreciate them doing this article on them because I've always talked about them being the first family and appreciating the fact that regardless of everything he's able to juggle for public consumption, we continue to see him be a son, a dad, a husband, a philanthropist, an entrepreneur. And the person that allows all of that to take place is his lovely wife. So I always made sure I big up them as many times as I got, as many opportunities as I've gotten, and I'm glad they got a chance to get this feature.
Giancarlo Stanton is on a tear. He hit a home run in 6 straight games. That streak ended, but he is on a tear. Well, he probably won't get to 61 home runs. It's interesting that he has set 61 home runs as a milestone, as that was Roger Maris's record. Now, Barry Bonds has hit more home runs than 61. Mark McGwire's hit more home runs than 61. Sammy Sosa's hit more home runs than 61. But we all know why 61 is the milestone that Giancarlo Stanton wants to reach. What is the real home run record in your mind?
Well, a couple of things, and I'm a big fan of his. That probably is the number he said. You ready for this? Because that's what he's on pace to hit, number one.
yeah, because he's never going to hit 73. So, yeah, might as well.
Okay. And like you say, don't set the expectations too high and then disappoint. I hope the new ownership group with Derek Jeter and Michael Jordan actually keep him in tow in a sport that doesn't have a salary cap. I don't know why I'm hearing rumblings about trading one of the best hitters in baseball, in particular of the long ball. But what he's basically doing is showing a level of disrespect to players, in particular Barry Bonds, who were able to have this level of success during what was coined the steroid era. But if you look at the history of baseball, they've had multiple eras where people were using things that are now banned.
Of course.
And so for Barry Bonds, who I got a chance to watch a lot with my own 2 eyes, was a 40-40 guy, whether he was playing with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Obviously, his helmet size got a lot bigger when he's playing with the San Francisco Giants. But again, one of the all-time great players, and when you look down at the record books, it says 73. So for me, and I know we saw Sosa, I know we saw McGwire put up 60. The record is
73.
What Barry Bonds put up.
It's a human being.
That's the high score.
He's a human being. He hits 73. You got to beat 73. That's the high score in the machine. You got to get over it, Giancarlo Stanton. But I do, again, always keep expectations low. He's like, 61 is the real record, right? Now, we've got Kevin Durant and Lil Dicky, both of which have been spoken about on this program. They're going back and forth a little bit on Twitter about whether or not Cleveland should trade LeBron James. I just love the idea that Kevin Durant sees a Lil Dicky tweet and is like, let me respond to that. Let me get back in there. And they seem to both go back and forth. I don't think either of them knows that LeBron's got a no-trade clause. Like, I don't know if Kevin Durant never really brought that up. You know, when he finds out, he's going to call his agent like, LeBron's got no trade clause? Can we make that into my deal somehow? But how much do you love Kevin Durant going back and forth with just about anybody?
I love it because if you're going to participate in social media, that clearly means you're paying attention to your mentions and you're following what's being said and what's being posted. And so for him to have an opinion, in particular about not only somebody that he considers an opponent clearly because they're both been in the NBA Finals the last 3 years, playing against the NBA Finals, well, this year playing against one another, and they've done it before when he was in OKC. But obviously somebody he's looked up to. He's modeled his game after. He's been worked out with. They play flag football together. And so it doesn't surprise me to see him playing rec ball together, and it doesn't surprise me to see KD having his back.
You know, I was thinking about this, and you've got Lil Dicky, right? He loves basketball. He loves hip-hop. He's a Caucasian American. And then you've got KD. He's a great NBA athlete. And they're going back and forth about LeBron James. And it kind of got me thinking, like, are they our replacement hosts? Is it going to go from Jalen and Jacoby when we're on vacation or something? Can we get Lil Dicky and KD in here? I think that would fit. I think that would work. I'm going to reach out to Lil Dicky's agent. Coming up next on Jalen and Jacoby, we're going to give the people what they want. What do players have to bring to an arena before a game?
Basically, on the road, you just need your toiletries. Other than that, just your clothes and your game. That's it.
What's in the toiletry bag, though? Like, why do you need toiletries? When I go to the gym, I don't bring, like, deodorant and cologne.
You just said it. Because you need to start wearing deodorant and cologne. You probably consider brushing your teeth after you run up and down the court.
Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. Jalen Rose, this is big news for you. What's your favorite Sunday night television program?
Power.
Who is the rapper / executive that is responsible for this program being on Stars?
Curtis Jackson.
Also known as 50 Cent. Well, he always kind of stays in the news. He's got a little beef with Stars. He wants Stars to promote the show. I don't know what he wants. He wants more power. He wants more seasons.
We can
more
relate.
Episodes.
We got the best show in the industry.
He just
we
wants
feel
more.
like we need more promotion.
He just
That's
wants
why
more.
we call ourselves Pop the Trump.
But one thing we're not doing is we're not leaking episodes of our own line, subverting the network that pays us. So 50 Cent is now admitting that he's leaked power episodes online before they've hit the air. I don't even know if this is real. Like, he might not have leaked it, and he's taking credit for it. What is really happening? Can you translate all of this for me to tell me what's really happening in 50 Cent's mind?
What's really happening is he feels like they're not getting the market and promotion they deserve. So now, because of this conversation, we're talking about it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he might not have leaked it. There's a part of me that he's just like taking credit for it, trying to make it seem like it's this big marketing move. But then he's calling up Stars and be like, honestly, it wasn't me. Like, you can check the IP address or whatever. Like, I don't even know how to leak an episode.
All I know is this: I must get you to watch Power. There are 2 episodes remaining. You're Tommy.
We'll see. We'll see. I know you saw this first pitch in Boston. I think it was a fan, and we've all seen the bad first pitches. 50 Cent himself that we were just talking about, he had a terrible first pitch. But this one is particularly interesting because there was a photographer behind home plate, and he took it in the man parts. Jalen, will it ever get old watching dudes get hit in the man region?
It's been old. I don't enjoy that visual.
America's Funniest Home Videos has made billionaires off of this. Like, they're on the air for 20 years just because it's funny. It's always funny.
I don't want to see another guy get hit in his family jewels.
It's always funny. I know you laughed when you first saw it. You were trying to be cool on television. I know you laughed.
I didn't laugh. I was trying to figure. I know he was holding the camera, but you clearly see the ball coming, right?
Exactly. He got a really good picture too. He put it up online of like the catcher reaching and miss it, the ball heading right for him. He got a great shot. He's committed to his job. I'm not that committed to this program. Making it past 3 years as the Detroit Piston head coach makes Stan Van Gundy the longest tenured Piston coach since the late, great Chuck Daly. Are you surprised that Stan Van is the longest tenured Pistons head coach since Chuck Daly?
It's not just about the Detroit Pistons. I'm pretty sure you could go down the line in the NBA, period, and couldn't really acknowledge multiple coaches that's been in their current position with that team, say, 5 years. It's only a handful that come to mind. Coach Pop, Rick Carlisle, Eric Spoelstra, that have had tenure in their current situation. Those jobs have been turned over constantly. And by the way, Colin Kaepernick is on the phone like, Mark Jackson ain't coaching nowhere yet?
Everyone kept their jobs last year. Nothing opened up. Drake was at UCLA playing pickup in full Kentucky uniform. Soft move or boss move, wearing a full uniform playing pickup?
Boss move. As a matter of fact, I'm going to hit up Coach Cal and try to get me some gear.
Soft move. That is a soft. You cannot, honestly, I would play with no shirt on if I had to play in a full uniform. I would just play with no shirt on. I can't
Jacoby,
do that. I cannot do that.
I played basketball with you and the Podfather at Staples Center and did the exact same thing.
And it was a soft move then, and it would be a soft move if we did it again. And for those of you who don't know, the Podfather baseline, 13 feet, like 80%. The Podfather's got one spot on the floor, and you give him the ball there, you can just run back on defense. It's going in. Shout out to the Podfather. Aaron Rodgers follows just 6 accounts on Instagram. One of those accounts is Zaza Pachulia. What does that mean?
You probably met him at the ESPYs.
Good point. Let's move on. This is bad news for you, Jalen Rose. One of your favorite establishments, Hooters, is hitting on hard financial times. The report is that millennials are no longer into what Hooters is serving, if you know what I mean. And now 7% of their stores have closed. Jalen, please make an appeal to millennials to save Hooters.
They're going to strip clubs.
Oh, God. If they don't cancel us, we'll be back tomorrow. He is Jalen Rose. I'm Dave Jacoby. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio.
Big shout out to
do not
Hooters.
Forget
Best crab legs.
to subscribe to our podcast.
Twin Peaks is coming.
Oh, no. Jalen Rose, you are definitely going to get us canceled. We'll probably be back tomorrow. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure.
We still go.
We'll do the show anyway.
Got to